So just to make sure everybody's in the good room today, we are here to discuss the Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science in Environmental Practice. And to lead the webinar with me today, I have Dr. Chris Ling. Chris, if you want to just say hi.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining us today.
Wonderful. And myself, I'm Nancy. I'm an education specialist here at Royal Roads University. And we are joined behind the scene by Emara Angus, my colleague. So if you have any question, any tech issue, please just message Emara in Zoom. And we also have Rhonda White, which is an amazing enrollment advisor. She has been with Royal Roads for many years. So she will be popping a few links in the chat, and we will all together try to answer any question you might have. So before we get started, I want to acknowledge that Royal Road University, we are located on the traditional land of the Laquaxum and Cosepson families and ancestors, which are known as the Songhees and Esquimalt nations. It is with gratitude that we now learn and work here, where the past, present, and future of Indigenous and non-Indigenous students, faculty, and staff come together. Feel free to acknowledge the land that you're joining on from today. You can do so in the chat. And here's the agenda. So today we'll be talking about the programs, about the experience of being a student at Royal Roads University. We'll review the application process, and we will also answer any question you might have. And I'm just looking at the chat right now. So we have someone in Parksville. Hi, Christina. A few people joining from BC and around. I hope it's sunny over there too, because today, after the storm of yesterday, it's pretty sunny on campus. Very beautiful day. So here's the agenda. We have reviewed that, and I will just move on to the next one. Whoops. So Royal Road, maybe you know, we are a changemaker campus. We are part of a network called Ashoka University. And the vision is to develop and inspire leadership at all levels, from an individual or organization. Our mission is to provide relevant, innovative, and transformative learning experiences to those wishing to develop apply skill in a dynamic context. And if you want to learn more, just type maybe on Google Ashoka Campus and you will learn more. We're pretty proud of that accreditation here. Sorry, I'm just having a little bit issue of switching my slide today. Thank you. So here is a slide about Royal Roads University. Maybe using the reaction bottom, you can let me know if you have come on campus before. We know that those programs are mostly online, the one we will be talking about, but it doesn't mean that you can't come on campus and visit us. So just for you to know, on this slide, on the top left, you have Hatley Castle, which is one of the most, I would say, iconic building on campus. The castle was built in 1908 as a retirement house for the Dunsmuir family. And then it became the military college. And now we're using it for meetings, classroom, events on campus for the university. On the top right, you can see the Japanese garden. So again, maybe you're visiting with friends, family, or when you graduate from the program, you will come for convocation here on campus. And all those gardens are really beautiful and they're in full bloom right now. So very magical to walk around. On the bottom left, Esquimalt Lagoon. So the campus, most of us today are facing the lagoon. So we can go there, have a lunch and just have a walk by it's a bird sanctuary. And on the bottom right, very important point is the online learning for 25 years. So what does that mean is that Royal Road was really built and created for teaching online. So we have done it for plus than 25 years now. And this is how the programs are created. And this is the experience that you would be getting. We're really professional and we know what we're doing here. I'll just change it here. And maybe Chris, if you want to move ahead with talking about the program structure, and we'll answer the chat and question as we go.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to echo what Nancy just said, if you do have a question of any of the material about the program as we get to it, feel free to raise it and I'll address it as soon as I see it's there. Or we have Rhonda, the enrollment advisor, in chat might respond. Or we also have two members of the program team, Karina Yao and Lauren Hume, who are also in the webinar today, who are able to respond in the chat as well if it's something they've got the information about. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Yeah, so this program that we're talking about today, the Bachelors of Environmental Practice, it is an entirely online program. So none of the teaching is delivered in the classroom, unlike our other two delivery models at Royal Road, which is the hybrid, blended, whatever you want to call it, model, where we have a mixture of online and in the classroom, and our on-campus programs in the classroom completely. So this is very much online. So we get a lot of students who are wanting to take this program because it gives them much more flexibility. They don't need to travel, they don't need to relocate. They can stay in their communities and stay, you know, if in their work environments as well, as works best for them. Next slide. So these are the various components that go into making up online courses at Royal Roads. In the BEP program, you do sometimes take courses from other institutions. However, the core of the program is Royal Roads courses, and these are how online courses at Royal Roads are designed. So they are a mixture of sort of classroom time sort of takes the form of discussion forums and discussion posts. There may be activities delivered through the course delivery platform, which is called Moodle. Some of you may be familiar with Moodle. In many of institutions in Canada use it. We have it very, very extensively sort of geared towards delivering full courses online. So it may look a little bit different even if you are familiar with it. Assignments are based on the experience of our instructors and are often very much applied and geared to real life issues and problems that those instructors have worked on themselves. Teamwork, both as a cohort, as a group going in the class, giving feedback and support and discussing things, as well as formal team activities and assignments, is a very important part of online learning at Royal Roads. And of course, the usual readings that are part of any post-secondary education. The whole sort of ethos is really that you as a student in the class have content and information and experience to offer, as well as, of course, the experience of the instructor. And it's a shared way of building knowledge and experience together. So that's how the online classes are designed and delivered at Royal Roads. One thing to perhaps also stress, but we can move on to the next slide, that's fine. The one thing to also stress is that by and large, those courses are designed to be what we call asynchronous, which means you don't have to be in a classroom at a specific time and place to deliver, get a lecture through Zoom or whatever. Some instructors do have times when they schedule that they're going to be live and available for people to interact with, to go over course notes or something like that, but they're always recorded and there's never a compulsion to be there at that time. So if you choose to work in the evenings, or you choose to work at the weekends, or you're in a very distant time zone, so you're working in the middle of the night for what would be the instructor's availability, that's perfectly fine. That doesn't matter. You're not expected to be face to face in the classroom at any specific time. And the program goal is really to give our students the education and experience and understanding that they're required to align with the needs and requirements of the environmental professions in Canada. And to that end, this program is delivered in partnership with Eco Canada, which is Canada's national environmental professional organization. If you take this program, then you can be, it meets the educational requirements for environmental professional in training status. the content of the program is based on the research that Eco Canada has done, asking the environmental employers of Canada what skills and what abilities, what skills and experience their hires need in order to succeed in their employment. So we're very confident that the content of the program, the Bachelor's of Environmental Practice program, is going to set you up very nicely for a career in the environmental professions, regardless of whether you've coming from that already or whether that's something you want to move into. Mm-hmm. So as I said, I think the students that we have in the program come from really these sort of four main backgrounds. They may be already working in the environmental field. They maybe have got a sort of, for example, environmental technology diploma, have maybe worked some time as a technician but want to advance their careers. Or they have been working in another field completely, but want to transition into the environmental field, or environmental issues are becoming increasingly part of their job. And that's something that we're finding increasingly now, that even jobs which maybe 5-10 years ago wouldn't have been considered environmental jobs are now incorporating quite a lot of environmental issues within them. Particularly things to do with policy or finance or things like that. And of course, there's those people who may have been working a number of years in their field, but are finding that because they lack a degree qualification, there's a bit of a glass ceiling. And of course, we can help with that, because the qualification you get at the end of this is indeed going to help you move on in that sense. That's they're the sort of people that we typically see in the Bachelor of Environmental Practice program, and that's our aim, is to advance you in your chosen career directions.
You make me think, Chris, that means that the cohort would be quite diverse. You have people from many backgrounds.
That's certainly the case, and as we've noted, this is either a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Science degree. It's a completion program, so it's equivalent to a 3rd and 4th year university degree, and roughly half of it is taught the same classes. So regardless of whether you're doing the BA or the BSc, you're taught together and on the same topics, and so the diversity of views and experience and backgrounds in the classroom is really very significant, and that's, again, as I alluded to earlier, it's very much part of the model of online education at Royal Roads. So the program is a fully online 60-credit part-time flexible program. That's the equivalent of a 3rd and 4th year of an undergraduate degree. And so the majority of people in the program come with either they've done years 1 and years 2 on a different degree somewhere else and needed to or wish to switch, or they have a college diploma or equivalent from elsewhere. If you have got more than a 1st and 2nd year educational background, for example, if you have an Ontario college advanced diploma, or you've started a 3rd year and didn't quite finish it or something like that, then it is possible to transfer up to 15 credits at the 3rd and 4th year to reduce the length of the program you take with us. That is a hard cap. So if you've got more than 15 credits, you can't transfer any more than 15. But that is a possibility. We have two parts of the program. There's the core program that's exclusively at Royal Roads, which is 30 credits plus your capstone. But then the remainder of the 60 credits is elective, and so you can take pretty much any course you want to, provided it's relevant to environmental practice. So some of those are available, some of those are courses available at Royal Roads, some of them are available at courses from other institutions across Canada. We do have maintain a list of acceptable courses. But the process is that you essentially go and apply to take those courses at that third-party institution, and then transfer those credits into the BEP program. If we don't list a course, it doesn't mean you can't take it. It just means we either weren't aware it existed, or it isn't perhaps sort of totally aligned with the program, or it's not an online course, and we deliberately don't list other face-to-face courses. But you are certainly able to ask for special permission to take those courses. So it's as flexible as we can be. And then to finish, you either take a practicum or a research paper to complete the program. You know, that's the aim, is to do that at the end of all your coursework, and so you can sort of integrate all that learning into your practicum or research paper in order to finish with a significant piece of work.
Wow, perfect. Okay,
so just to give an example of how people can move through the Bachelor of Environmental Practice program, the fastest you can reasonably take the degree is approximately 2.5 years. Slightly depends when you start, because there are 3 start dates, but we only have 1 program capstone a year. So obviously that affects the sort of the timing of how you progress through the program. But here's an example of someone doing the Bachelor of Science, and they're looking to get it completed as quickly as possible. So they take all their core courses, what we call the Block A courses, in years 1 and 2. And then once you've nearly finished your Block A courses, you can start taking Block B elective courses. And so this student, it's a real, this is obviously anonymized, but it's a real pathway that somebody has actually taken through the program. So they've taken electives which are, as you can see, a sort of variety of electives relating to, for example, planning GIS, global impacts and such like. And then in their 3rd year, they complete the program capstone. They elected to take a research paper, and that influences how many electives you need to take. So the research paper is 6 credits, and the practicum is 3 credits. So if you take the research paper, you take 1 fewer Block B courses.
Okay.
All right, so let's see the second example pathway. So this student, he has looked to move into a different career from one that he's already been taking, but he wants to carry on working, and so he doesn't want to take the courses at quite such a rapid pace as the previous example. You have up to 7 years to complete the program. So this example, John has taken all his core courses over the first 3 years, has then taken elective courses over the 4, 5, and 6 years, and then completed in that 6th year with a practicum, because he was concerned about his lack of environmental work experience because of that transition that he's seeking to do with his career. So a much slower and longer process, but of course that means that you're not committing quite as much time to your education, leaving more time for life, work, and all the other things. Actually, maybe can we just jump back, please, Nancy, to the previous one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure if we'd illustrated on either of these someone who transferred 15 credits into the program, but maybe we did. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's not that important. But if you did transfer the maximum 15 credits into the Bachelor of Environmental Practice program, that would reduce your Block B course list by up to 5 courses. So it's quite a significant potential decrease in the number of courses you would need to take to qualify for your degree.
Wow. So people can take up to, you said, from 2.5 to 7 years to complete.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, I guess it theoretically might be possible to be quicker than 2.5 years. I mean, there are pathways you can do that. And for example, if we know you're not working, we have a standard maximum of 3 courses at once. If you're not working and want to do it as more of a full-time program, you're not too worried about the electives that you're going to do. It can be possible to take more than that number of courses at once, but that's something that you need to have special permission for. But if that, if you're not working, you want to get it done as quickly, it might be possible to do it as quickly as in 2 years. But really, that would be it is stretching you quite a bit, and 2.5 is sort of a comfortable a pace for people who are really motivated and focused on trying to get through it.
Great.
Okay, so
yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I just got a question too. Someone direct a question to me about how many hours does that represent per week?
Yeah. So each Royal Roads course is a 3-credit course, and that represents sort of approximately 100 hours of student effort is the sort of the metric that we use. Now, obviously, different students have different abilities and different pacing, and some courses are more familiar to you than others that you'll be taking, and so that does vary depending on you as an individual. And typically, courses are sort of from 8 to 12 weeks long. So if you average that out, it's a 10-week course with approximately 100 hours of student effort. You're looking for each course approximately 10 hours a week. So if you think if you're working full time, you're looking at maybe working sort of 2 or 3 hours 3 or 4 times a week, or using one of your using a weekend day to do your studies. And if you're sort of not working and are looking to accelerate your program as much as possible, taking 3, possibly even 4 courses at once, you're looking at a sort of 30 to 40 hour work week, which is why we sort of discourage people who are working full time from trying to go too fast, because sometimes that can negatively impact everything else in your life, yeah. and we don't want that to happen. So there's a question here about admission. If you graduated from a 2, not 3-year college diploma and have 15 years work experience, would that be realistic sufficient for the 2-year BA course admission? So there's a number of things in there. First of all, most college diplomas are 2 years. I was using a 3-year advanced diploma as an example for people who might transfer credits into the BEP program. So a 2-year college diploma is usually 60 credits or equivalent, and that's the absolute standard admission. So yeah, absolutely, that would be fine. Age is not an issue for admissions. Age is an issue for course transfer. So if you're trying to transfer courses for credit in, we do kind of look at, if it's too old, it's not really transferable. But for a college diploma you did however long ago, it doesn't really matter. So you would have a standard admission, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. For the the BEP program is not a full 4-year program. Royal Roads does have a year 1 and 2 that we call a common foundations. But if that's into which you can apply as a BEP student. But the program we're talking about today is that 3rd and 4th year completion program. So I don't have any connection really with that year 1 and year 2 at Royal Roads. So I can't really give you any advice on that. But with your background of a 2-year college diploma, Erin, you would be totally admissible into the BEP program at that 3rd year equivalent level, assuming your GPA is sufficient.
Perfect. And correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but errand situation is something we see often at railroads. People working for many years and coming back to school.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we have seen that.
We get a lot of people in that situation. Yeah. So do courses go through the summer months? Yes. So yes, they do. Yes, as Lauren has said, there are 3 intakes a year, and so you can start your program over the summer if that's what you wish to.
Yeah. So we don't really do as other institutions. We don't do summer breaks that much. So courses will go one after the other
not
one.
At all.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for asking questions in the chat. Feel free to continue.
Yeah, so there is, through Royal Roads' international office, we do have some agreements to, if you wish to travel abroad and take courses at other institutions around the world. You can, that information is available on the Royal Roads website. We don't typically have many students that do that, simply because for the most part, people are interested in the BEP program because they can stay at home and work online, and they don't have to give up their employment. But if that's something that would interest you, it is an opportunity that we have.
Beautiful.
So just to sort of give a few examples of faculty that are attached to the program. Of course, we can't guarantee that any individual here you'll meet in your studies, but you can go on to the Royal Roads faculty website and find out more information about the folks that are teaching. So many of these faculty, we have both people who are employed as faculty at Royal Roads, like Dr. Richard Cool and Dr. Leslie King. We also have what we call associate faculty, who are people who are working in the real world as well as instructing courses with us. So we have, for example, Liza Ryland, who's a specialist in environmental education and communication, who's worked around the world advising governments on sustainability and environmental policy, and designing educational programs with organizations in Canada, and all sorts of interesting experience. And Robert Newell, for another example, he's worked extensively on community development and systems thinking, and he runs models, and I don't really understand, to be honest, what exactly he does some of the time. It's but very much in working with communities on solving climate change challenges and things like that. So we have a really diverse and interesting faculty that bring an awful lot of past experience and current experience into the classroom.
Yes, and this is a comment I hear often from students too. They're learning from their peers, but they're learning with and from their instructor. So there's a lot of, I think, communication and conversation in the classrooms.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful.
Right.
Is there more question in the chat? I will move ahead with the...
No, I don't think so.
Perfect. And now that we get everybody excited, we want to be part of the program. So how do we apply? Standard admission, as Chris mentioned a little bit. So you will need your 60 art or science credit with a minimum GPA of B, what we consider a 3. Or you can as well have a completion of the certificate in environmental practice. And I think this is a certificate that we no longer offer at Railroads, but if you have done it, it's still applicable.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's not actually been offered at Royal Roads for quite some time now, partly because this Bachelor of Environmental Practice has replaced it.
Okay.
And so, but there are still people out there, and I don't know if we have any in the webinar that have that qualification and looking to come back. So
that will still be available. Perfect. And if you're looking for the Bachelor of Science, then you need 18 credit out of their 60 to be a science credit. I'll just leave it a few seconds here if people want to take notes or take a picture, and it's all on the website.
Just expand on that. By science credits, we're really quite broad in what we define as science. So it doesn't have to be absolute, it doesn't have to be necessarily chemistry 101 and what have you. If in doubt, certainly get in touch with us. it's a pretty broad definition.
Okay, very good to know. Yeah, and I think Rhonda earlier sent the learn.more@railroads.ca. So any question you may have, please direct them to the enrollment advisors. Yes. And if you don't qualify for the standard admission, then you can apply for what we call flexible admissions. And this is quite unique with railroads. So you don't need to check any box when you apply, but we will determine if you're missing a few things from the standard admission, then we will adjudicate your file with flexible admission. And this is based on your skills, knowledge, and background, a little bit like we chatted earlier. So it's outside the traditional learning structure. It's really considering your experience, even like volunteering, work experience, and school, academic. So to be admissible, I don't know if it's a word, but to get in the flexible admission, you need at least 5 years of work or a combo of academic and volunteer experience. You need to be able to demonstrate the competencies expected of a graduate person with a 2-year diploma. Again, just knowing that people that will be in your cohort, they know already a little bit, they're already advanced. So we just want you to be able to keep up. And if you have missed the GPA requirement, then we ask for 3 years of work or relevant volunteer experience. Would you have anything to add to this, Chris?
No, I don't think so. The aim is the admissions flexible admissions process really has sort of two functions. One is for us to be confident that you're going to succeed in the program, as well as ensuring that you're not sort of too much of an outlier in the classroom and are going to find yourself out of place. So it's really sort of both to sort of make sure that we maintain a kind of a cohort group that has the abilities they're going to need for the courses they're taking, but also to make sure that you as an individual don't struggle and therefore have a negative experience.
Totally, yeah. And if you're ready to apply, again, that can be flexible or standard. You don't have to decide. We will do that for you. You go on our website. There's a section how to apply with simple steps to follow. You will pay your online application, $128 and some change. And you will you will get your kind of ID or applicant number, and then you will start sharing documents with us. So important documents for us will be official transcript, anything from post-secondary institution. We will need those transcripts to be sent from your institution to us. It can be by mail or email. And then if we look at your application and we're like, oh, we're missing a few things, we want to know to get to know you more, we need more info, then we will ask for more documents like a detailed resume of volunteer work and your work and everything you have done in relation to those programs. We will also ask for a personal statement, which is a statement of intent, which is quite fun to do. So you will reflect on who you are, what you have done in the past, and what you want to accomplish in the future. So really kind of telling us why you are a good candidate for the program.
And also, if there's an obvious gap in your history, or you for whatever reason that maybe you have a low GPA from your previous studies because of life events, you can let us know and explain some of the things that we're seeing in your resume that maybe need a bit more explanation.
That's such a good point. Yes, letting us know what happened, and then we can better understand or ask you more questions. Yes. And with that personal statement, then you can submit it to the people that you know to get your letters of reference. So letters of reference, we like to say one academic and one professional one. It doesn't have to be like this, but this is a good format for you. So you might share it with someone, one of your instructors from past institutions and someone that work with you. And sharing your personal statement will really get them to know why you want to apply to railroads. And then they will be able to maybe write a better letter. So we can review those letters and get you in the program if that's a good fit. And there's more information on the webpage, again, on the website of Railroads with all the admission requirements and how long should be your letter or your resume. We have all that detail online. And as we mentioned in the chat, there's quite a few intakes for that program. So we have 3 per year, the next one being in May. So the deadline is in a few days. Maybe some of you are already in the application phases, you're already there. So feel free to accept an offer if you're getting one, because the program will start in a month. And then we have other intakes coming up in September, January, and May. Financial aid, we know that finance is a huge component of going back to school. So feel free to reach out to our amazing team at the finance here. You have the information. Again, you can print screen this or take a picture. And the financial aid at Railroads, they will really help you with internal loans or grants or support, as well as external ones. So they're always having so many links they can share with you to help you with that component. And here I saw that Randa kindly shared many links with us. I'll make sure to share them with you with the recorded link. But if you have any more questions, the enrollment team is really here to help you out. So you can connect with them at learn.more@railroads.ca. Or if you're coming from abroad, you can use the learn.more.internationals@railroads. And if you're ready to apply, or you have really like specific question now, you can still use the chat, or you can just scan that QR code here that will connect with one of the advisors directly. And here we go. This is it for today. So feel free to stay online, ask a few more questions, and we will make sure to send the recording in a few hours, and then we can continue the conversation out there. Anything you would like to add, Chris?
No, other than to say, feel free to ask questions now, or follow up in, by contacting the enrollment advisors if you have any further questions.
Thank you so much for your time, Chris, today, and everybody that was in the attendees. That was very nice to see you, even if it's online, and we will see you soon.